Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Can I help you with something, Mr.
Giles. Rupert. I'm looking for Buffy Summers. I'm a friend of hers. And I was her high school librarian.
I'm sorry, Buffy's not here, but if I see her...
Buffy's been very influenced by your course. She quotes you quite often. Sometimes she sounds a bit like an introductory textbook herself.
I don't lecture from the textbook, but I'm glad she's inspired by the material. She's bright. All she's really been lacking is encouragement in the academic setting.
I think it's best if we let a young person find their own strengths. If you lead a child by the hand, then they'll never find their own footing.
And if it's true about hiking, ergo it must be true about life.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions, our thoughts. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 12, titled A New Man, directed by Michael Gershman, written by Jane Espenson, original air date January 25th, 2000, to an audience of 6.02 million people. And boy, were our predictions way off on this one. They were way off.
Yeah, no chance that we were getting this one right.
Yeah, I mean, we really leaned into like, oh, this is going to be about Spike. This is going to be about Spike becoming a new man and like beating up demons. And boy, was it not.
And they were like, oh, it's going to be like Riley and Buffy, her new man. And it's really not about that.
We even had like a Percy prediction in here too.
I just threw in a random Percy. Yeah. So if anyone's ever worried about us getting a little spoiled for stuff, don't worry. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we couldn't have been further off from this. But before we get into the episode, it's been a while, everybody. But today we've got a couple of Oh, I just hit my fucking hand on my desk. Ow.
I was going to say you could just do that over and we cut it out, but now I don't know.
But okay. It's been a while, everybody. We're going to do a couple of fucking shout-outs. We got a couple of them today for this episode. Starting off with JB Domini. Thank you so much for the kind words on Apple Podcasts. Really appreciate that. And Surly Neighbors, thanks for your 5-star review and rate as well. You guys are so kind. We really appreciate it. And if you want to get your own little rate and review on Apple Podcasts. I'm losing it, man. I had a coffee. I haven't eaten anything yet. So
I haven't eaten anything either. Yeah, I have a little tea. Yeah, I would like to say these reviews really help get the podcast spread it out, showing to people. You know, people find it on Apple Podcasts and listen on Spotify or wherever they listen. It's good. Yeah, it helps. And
it does help. It does make it look like more credible.
Yes.
To be honest with you, because I just had a lady, so I'm a photographer as well, everybody. I have a photography page, and I had this lady, I told her my rates for doing, my creative portrait bullshit. And she was like, how about this? How about instead of me paying you, you just come on my podcast. I get a bunch of listeners and it'll be great for your exposure and you can promote your photography stuff. And I was like, okay. So I went to Apple Podcasts and I looked up her ratings and reviews, and she only had like 5 ratings and one of them was a 1-star. And I was like, fuck that lady. I'm not going on that podcast.
Like, you're boosting that podcast, not the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah. And she tried to like belittle me and all this shit. She was like, I feel like you, a person with your following, should want to do it. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Don't fall for the exposure trap all the time. Like when you're younger and you're starting out, that you get that a lot, but just wait it. You know, like some things are like, I'll do it for a little bit of exposure, but when people try to not pay you for exposure, that's when you got to start being like, huh.
Yeah, it's like, lady, I've been doing comedy since I was 18 years old. I know the pay you an exposure bullshit trap. Yeah. Like I've been exposed so many times, and here, where am I? In an apartment in North Hollywood, barely making it. So yeah, thank you so much for those ratings and reviewings. And they do, I guess, legitimize us.
Yeah, and if you like the show, tell a friend, share it with a friend, and if you don't have a friend, share it with a stranger and make a friend.
Oh, wow. That was adorable. Yeah, so thank you for those kind words, Surly Neighbors and JB Domini, and for helping legitimize this Rootin' Tootin' podcast. Anything else here that we can get into, Vance, or are we good to go?
I think we're good to go.
All right, well, let's get into A New Man. So,
you want to rephrase that?
Phrasing. So this episode opens up with like a Spike recap of him being impotent, and then Riley and Buffy's whole lead up to like, you know, Buffy figuring out that Riley's part of the initiative and all that stuff. But the actual episode opens up with Riley and Buffy making out hardcore on Buffy's bed. Things are getting intimate. And remember last time last episode, they had like 3 separate fights about like how they can't date. And then at the end, it was just like, everything's resolved. We're going to date each other. It's going to be fine. But there was no reason to.
No reason. Nothing has changed. Just the same situation as if the last day didn't happen. Yep.
Yeah. So now they're fucking making out real hardcore, and Riley's like, are we expecting anyone to be busting in here anytime soon? And Buffy's like, nope, Willow's gonna be at the science lab all night long. And Riley's like, cool. You know what that means. And he starts feeling up Buffy's going under the shirt. And then just as he's going up under the shirt, Willow busts in. And she's like, Buffy, there's fire-breathing demons in the rec room. We need to go. We need you now. And Riley and Buffy are like, fuck, come on, dude. We're horny. We're horny college people. And Buffy's like, all right, well, let's go investigate. And Buffy's like, oh, I thought that we weren't going to be doing this tonight. I thought you were going to be in the lab alone. And Willow's like, well, you know, it's kind of a big deal. Don't worry. You know, we need your help. There's fire-breathing demons. I wasn't expecting that to happen. And they go into the rec room, and instead of fire-breathing demons, it's a surprise party for Buffy's birthday.
It's like her birthday every week.
Oh. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, God, Buffy's birthday. Buffy has the worst birthdays.
It was as soon as the lights were out when she went into the rec room, I was like, oh, this is a surprise party.
Yeah.
Why was Riley not in on it? Because he comes around the corner, he's shocked that it's a surprise party. And you would think Willow would have been like, hey, Riley, I need you to take her somewhere to set up the surprise.
Yeah, that's what you do for surprise parties, everybody. Yeah. You get everybody in on it, you know? Yeah. But also, like, when they turn the lights on and they do the surprise, like, it's the gang and Giles. And then, like, it felt like 15 other people that I'd never seen in the show.
It's, I remember seeing, like, when Friends would have parties, like Friends the show. Yeah. Because it's always just the 6 of them no matter what. And then when they have a party, it'd just be these random extras you've never seen before. And then
they explain it away.
And then maybe Gunther. Like, they'll just
they explain the people away later on, but I was like, who the fuck are all these people?
Yeah, they're like, some of Riley's friends are here. How did Riley's friends find out
about it
if he didn't know? If he didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but then we have the opening song, and then we come back, and Giles is talking to Xander and Anya, and Giles is like telling a story to them, and Anya's just like, "This is boring, and you're boring." And Xander's like, "What did we say about being rude to people? Don't do this, Anya." And she's like, "Oh, right. Tell me your amazing and fascinating story, Giles, please." And then Giles is like, "You know what? Fucking never mind."
I do love the Anya, like, out of touch with people.
Yeah, not knowing how to interact at all.
Xander having to be like the people coach for her, and he's like also, the worst person to have that.
I know, but also Fashion Corner, like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck is Xander wearing, dude?
It looks like he's on a resort.
Yeah, he looks like he's like
a 50-year-old dad at a resort on vacation.
He's like at Margaritaville or something. Like he's wearing like a white button down and a light blue sweater vest that has like clouds on it and stuff. Yeah. I was like, what is this? What is this? Is in your closet, Xander? Who? It was so weird looking.
I mean, Spike took his other shirt, so.
That's true. That is true. But I had to like stop for a second and really appreciate the horrendousness. We haven't had a good Fashion Corner moment in a minute.
Yeah.
And this got me right back, and I was like, Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But so Xander and Anya leave, and Xander's like, I got to give you some more lessons about being a, courteous person. Willow shows up, and she gives Giles a piece of cake, and she's like, oh, so happy that you're here. Buffy and Riley come over, and Buffy introduces Riley to Giles, and she's like, this is my boyfriend, Riley. And Giles is like, boyfriend.
That went to boyfriend quick.
Right, dude? Right? Like, didn't Buffy learn anything from Parker?
She went from we can't date to this is my boyfriend in a day.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like, there's a little bit of a period where you're just dating before you get a boyfriend.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she gets the whole intro. She makes it a fish with Giles. Hey, this is my boyfriend. And Giles is like, oh, okay. I've never even heard of this guy, but, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to meet you. And then Riley's like, I've heard so much about you, Mr. Giles. You're such an influence on Buffy's life, and it's really finally nice to meet you. And I know that you were like the librarian at Buffy's high school, but, since that blew up, like, what are you up to these days? Are you retired? You working somewhere else? And Giles is kind of like, I'm kind of in between jobs.
Yeah, it's so weird. Giles doesn't have a job, but he has money and he seems to be functioning just fine.
Yeah.
It's not like he's out of work and like struggling. I don't know.
He's got like a really nice place too.
It seems like it's by choice that he's not working.
Well, we were always curious as to whether or not the Watchers were funding his life as well, like outside of being a librarian.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, even if that was true, he's not with the Watchers anymore, and he's not a librarian anymore, so he's just hanging.
Yeah, but like, is he like just have some money from stuff? Like, I just
don't
know.
He's just like independently wealthy or something.
But does he not want to do something else too? Like, I think he can get a job anywhere.
Yeah.
But he could just work at the museum.
Yeah, he absolutely could. Like, he could take over that guy that got killed.
Yeah.
For that guy that got killed. But, yeah, so then Giles is starting to really feel bad about himself. He's like, oh, I'm a loser. Am I a loser? And Buffy starts talking to him about Mr. Professor Walsh. And she's like, I really think you should meet Professor Walsh. Like, I think that you guys would really hit it off. She's really smart. She's really awesome. She's my psychology teacher. Riley's a TA for her class. And Giles is like, oh, okay, cool. I'd love to meet her. Is she going to be coming here tonight? And Buffy's like, no, she's like 40. What is she doing? Going to be hanging out with a bunch of teenagers for? Why would she ever be here? And then Giles is like, ooh, wow, I cut deep there, Buff.
Yeah.
She said, she's like 40. She has better things to do than hang with a bunch of kids. It's like, ooh.
And then that's when Giles started picking up co-eds.
Yeah, man. He gets a motorcycle.
He dyes
it's a Corvette.
Yeah.
Starts putting on his leather jacket again.
Got his Just for Men going.
Touch of gray.
Yeah.
A little bit of salt and pepper.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how oblivious do you have to be to, like, say that and not real? Like,
there's a point where she asked Riley to go get Giles a piece of cake so he would go away so they could talk about him a little bit. But they'd just come over and given him cake.
Yeah. Like, Willow had just given him a piece of cake.
And it didn't seem to play it off like it was fake. It seemed like, oh, he really didn't have cake. But I was like, doesn't he have cake? I don't know.
Maybe we didn't see him wolf it down or anything. But yeah. So Giles is really feeling down about himself. They're kind of making him feel like a loser a little bit. He doesn't have a lot going for him. So that's kind of the establishing point of this scene.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, it's never going to get paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we go over to Xander's basement and Spike's moving out. He's packing up his things and what little he has. Yeah. And Xander's even amazed, like, why is this taking so long? Like, why is it? You had a black shirt and black pants. Like, get the fuck out of here. And Spike's like trying to steal some of Xander's stuff. He's like, that's my radio, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's like, oh, I'm evil. What do you expect? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, well, where are you looking to move into? And Spike's like, I don't know, maybe some kind of abandoned mansion like Angel used to live in, or some kind of dank crypt without any sun in it. And then Anya's like, yeah, it can't be any more dank and disgusting than this place. Like, Spike and Anya have a moment where they just like trash Xander's basement.
The Spike and Anya bond seems like, oh yeah, they would be a fun duo too.
Yeah. Yeah, like they have such fun dynamics going on in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anya starts talking about, like, I don't really understand how you're going to survive. Like, are you going to have a electricity or like light? And Spike's like, no, it's a crypt. She's like, well, how are you going to find blood? And how are you going to refrigerate blood and keep all your blood fresh? And Spike starts to kind of be like, oh yeah, that's kind of a good point.
He's like, oh yeah, living in a house or apartment seems like the right way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, how is Angel able to like have an apartment?
I have no idea.
Like, Spike, you've been killing and criminalizing all this time. You don't have you had a team of people drilling underneath the earth. You don't have enough for a little Sunnydale like faith, like a faith firm.
Not to mention he's on the run from the initiative.
Yeah.
And now he's wearing what he was wearing when the initiative was like on his tail.
I mean, I don't know how much on the run he is because he's met Riley.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised that they don't like I know that he has been.
They don't do anything with that.
Well, I'm just like, I know that he's been chipped with that thing that's like he can't hurt people, but they don't have a location tracker or anything. They have that for dogs.
Well, and they also don't. He also doesn't seem like he's trying to get the chip out of him, like for his own sake. And then they don't seem like they are curious about how the chip works.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is amazing technology.
Yeah, they keep talking about, like, maybe we'll meet you down there. It's like, no, let's all go right now.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Anya tries to give him a parting gift, and it's like Xander's lamp. He's like, what are you guys trying to steal all my shit for?
It's customary.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Spike's on his way out. He's not going to be living with Xander in his basement anymore. Yeah. So then the next scene... And this is what I was asking about in the last episode, where it's like, how long is it going to take before Buffy tells people? And not very long at all. Buffy straight up just tells Professor Walsh, hey, guess what? I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Professor Walsh is like, you're the Slayer, huh? That's crazy. I always thought that was a myth. But here you are, live in the flesh. This is all crazy. It all makes sense now why you're failing my class and falling asleep and everything. You're out fighting vampires and everything every night. That's crazy. And I think we should work together. And I was like, wow, this really came together quick.
And this was my argument every time you were like, oh, shouldn't they know about the Slayer and stuff? I'm like, they don't know any of the spiritual, supernatural stuff. They just know these are demons or these are vampire monster things and we need to stop them. Like, they don't know like the lore and the history.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking it from a scientific experimentation approach without like the crystals and spirituality shit.
They're not like, hey, let's get an orb of Thessala. They're like, let's get a hand grenade.
Yeah. Let's develop a chip that makes neuters vampires and demons. But so Professor Walsh is like, I think we could be great allies. We can provide you with intel. You can provide us with intel, everything you know. And I was like, yes, this makes so much sense. This is so great. And then they start talking about like how many hostels they've taken down. And Professor Walsh is like, yeah, you know, we've done a good, we've been taking out a good number of these hostels. I mean, Agent Finn here, he's even taken down 17. And Riley's like, hell yeah, I take down 11 vampires and 6 demons. And then Professor Walsh is like, so Buffy, how many have you taken down? And Buffy has this like 1,000-yard
like, does Ascension Demon count for more?
Is that like 2.5? But I did love that, like, it seemed like Buffy's whole Slayerdom had flashed before her eyes when she asked her that.
It's just all murder flashes,
She's like, wow, I'm out murdering things every single night of my life for the last 3-4 years.
She's like, I sometimes think I kill in my sleep too, so does that count?
Dude, she has to have the most intense PTSD. Like, she is fucked up for life, dude.
Well, I would think they would all have PTSD. Like, I don't know how they sleep. I don't know how Giles or Xander sleeps at night. Like, demons have been in their houses multiple times.
There've been, like, Xander's dating a demon that tried to kill him.
Yeah. But provides him no protection from other demons.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to they've kind of like gone through to the other side where they're like, fuck it, we're friends with demons now. You know, who gives a shit anymore? Like,
I wake up a demon standing over my bed. I'm like, get out of here, demon. I'm tired.
Like, these people have to go and get some intense therapy after they're fucked.
The therapy's not going to help because there's going to be a demon the next day.
That's true.
Like,
that's true.
What are you going to do?
And it's not like that they're like going to be fully outright with their therapist either, because they're like still trying to keep it all a secret.
Which I don't know why. Help the therapist. Tell everyone. Everyone needs to know this is real.
It's so intense. Like, when you think about the ramifications of all of this murder and death that surrounds all of these people all the time.
I still can't get over Percy coming back.
Yeah.
And then there's a murder at the party he's at. And he's like, you know, I'm going back to USC. This is stupid.
Like he knows what's up.
He knows about the demons. And,
But yeah, I guess that's what separates them from everybody else. Yep. But yeah, after Buffy has her little flashback, her little Vietnam,
you just hear
just like a little like overlay of all this.
Darla's face.
We go to Giles, who's at home, and he's doing a little dusting of his books. He's doing a little cleaning, and then he just out of nowhere has like a realization. He's like, wait a minute. Grabs a book from his shelf. And he's like, oh shit. Opens the book, and he's like, oh no. He calls Willow. And there's some kind of demon prince rising tonight, and he forgot all about it.
My thought here, one, it was just so random. My thought here was also, you're not a watcher. She's not working with the watchers anymore. If you weren't around, who was going to know about this?
Yeah. Like, it would just completely take everybody by surprise.
Yeah. What are the watchers doing? We're like halfway through the season.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, he calls Willow. There's some kind of demon prince rising. So then we cut to Riley and Buffy talking after their conversation with Professor Walsh, and Riley is now like, oh my God, I didn't realize you do this every fucking night. I thought that I was king shit on Turd Island because I killed 17. And you're doing this every night. And Buffy's like, yeah, I mean, that's my life. I've been doing it since I was 15. It's just what I do. Yeah. And Riley's like, you've been killing hundreds of vampires.
Well, it's definitely like that, how many people have you slept with metaphor.
Exactly. And then when like Riley's feeling inadequate.
And then when she says, I've been doing it since I was 15, it's like, they like really hammer that home. Like, good stuff.
Riley's, well, it's like Riley is feeling inadequate and emasculated a little bit, but he's also amazed. He's like, you're fucking incredible, dude. Like, that's crazy. You do this every night. And even he's like, oh my God, you gotta be so fucked up.
Like, I didn't know where they were gonna go with it, actually. Like, if they were gonna go like him just being like emasculated and like doesn't want to see her anymore, kind of, which I think they would have done in like season 1 or 2. Like Xander had a lot of those, like, don't stand up for me. Like even Jonathan had that when she stood up for him with the fish guys, the fish jobs. Yeah. He's like, I can protect myself. I'm like, dude, no, you can't. Like, it's fine. Just be happy that Buffy is around.
Yeah. I mean, this is a fun little scene too. And it's like,
it fits with
I feel like it put things into perspective for Riley because he seemed like he was thinking like, hey, I'm a part of this big, intense military operation. You're going to think I'm really cool. And then Buffy's kind of like, this is every single day for me, dude. Sometimes I kill 17 in a night.
And she's like, I think Willow's got 20.
Yeah. Yeah. You know my stupid friend Xander that doesn't have any kind of powers at all? He's probably killed like at least 11.
And he accidentally killed his best friend the second episode.
So it was a nice put things into perspective for Riley moment. And I liked that scene. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So then the next scene is Giles going to meet Professor Walsh. He knocks on the door and he's like, oh, you must be Professor Walsh. And she's like, yes, how can I help you? And she's barely paying him any kind of attention at all. He's like a thorn in her side. And he's like, I'm looking for Buffy Summers. Have you seen her? And she's like, no, I haven't seen her. And Giles is like, well, Buffy tells me a lot about you. And Buffy is like really influenced by you. And she's really taken a liking to you and looks up to you and all this stuff. She really loves your class. And Professor Walsh is like, I'm sorry, who the fuck are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Buffy's friend. I'm her older friend. Don't worry about it.
I used to be her librarian or something. Like, it's like he doesn't want to just say watcher.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know yet. So
yeah, he doesn't know about the initiative and all that stuff. So they start talking about like academic strategies too. And Professor Walsh is like, yeah, Buffy, she is really kind of a radical, not self-important, but self-reliant girl. And she needs structure in her life. And Giles is like, I kind of disagree. I think that she should be really reveling in that independence. And you just don't know her like I do. And she really needs to have that independence. And Professor Walsh is like, look, I do fucking psychology, dude. Don't talk to me about psychology. She's really lacking some guidance. She probably is missing like a male role model, a father figure. And this like cut Giles right into the fucking core, dude.
Yeah.
And Giles is like, well, fuck you. and then she's like, well, if I'd see Buffy again, I'll let her know that her quote unquote friend, Mr. Giles, was looking for her or whatever. I was like, damn.
I was like, if Giles was a dangerous person, he could definitely do her harm. Like, it seems like high alert. You know, demons exist. You know, you run a secret organization. Some stranger walked in and said they know Buffy.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason you just found out is the Slayer.
Yeah.
Is that a little suspicious?
Yeah. And instead it's like this pissing competition about like who's got her best interests at heart.
Yeah. And who's like the better role model / parent type
Maybe
figure.
She's missing a strong mother figure. Whatever says that.
But yeah, Maggie Walsh just leaves Giles pretty speechless and feeling very inadequate and like he's fucking up, basically. So Giles, Willow, and Xander then go to the graveyard, and Willow and Xander are kind of with Giles. They're like, "What are we doing here? Where's Buffy?" And Giles is like, "Fuck Buffy. She's got Professor Walsh. She could figure shit out on her own. I'll fight the demon. We can fight our demon ourselves. I've fought demons before."
He calls Maggie Walsh a fishwife, which is a term I hadn't heard in a long a long time, and I really don't know offhand what it means. But it's not I think it's like it's a put down. It's definitely a put down, but I'm trying to, I don't know, like, why.
Like in what way?
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll talk about it on Discord. It'll be it'll be the longest tangent thread next week.
So, yeah, Giles is like, I've fought some demons in my day. We can handle this ourselves. And then they enter the crypt.
Why didn't they bring Spike?
I don't know.
He fights demons. He wants to fight demons. He has strength. Why are you bringing?
Super strong.
Why do we keep bringing 2 random college kids with no powers, except for Willow, who's a witch?
And not even like that good of a witch.
Like, she's good, but she's not like shoot things at you defense mechanism.
She's good. She's not confident in her own abilities at this point, I feel like,
She's not going to, like, witch you out of, like, a demon attack.
Fair, yeah. So they enter the crypt. Nothing is really amiss. They're looking around, and they're like, this is weird. Maybe we missed it. Maybe something happened. But Giles is like, all right, well, let's just start it anyway. We'll start our thing. And Willow and Xander are like, this is really tidy and cleaned up. Maybe the initiative already took care of this. And Giles is like, I'm sorry, what?
What the fuck
what's this? What's this initiative that you're talking about? And Willow and Xander are like, oh, you don't know about the initiative? And he's like, no, what is it? And they're like, it's that secret group of demon hunters that, they're fighting demons, and Riley's a part of it, and he's one of the commandos. And Giles is like, what? Are you... Nobody told me about any of this. And they're like, oh, shit. Yeah, it's not like all of us knew. Not a lot of people know. It's just the gang and Anya and Spike. And Giles is like, fucking Spike knew this?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, Spike was held captive by the initiative. So, of course, yeah, he knew this. But
he knows it, and Spike isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
He's not like, I'm going to kidnap Riley.
Yeah. But, and then Giles is like, this is unbelievable. You guys have been keeping me out of the loop. And they're like, well, yeah, okay. Well, it's Riley, and, Professor Walsh is like the head of the initiative. And he's like, Professor Walsh is the head of it? She's a part. I fucking knew I hated that bitch.
Yeah, I think that's where he says the fishwife line, maybe.
Yeah. And he's like jealous of Professor Walsh, and Xander and Willow are like, oh God, we should have told him. We fucked up. This is awkward. So do you want to still do this? And Giles is like, no, just leave. I'm going to sit here in this fucking crypt. I'm just going to wallow in self-pity. And they're like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, all right, cool. See ya.
And at that point, they should have figured Giles was dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Left him in a crypt in the middle of the night in Sunnydale. That seems like a death sentence.
Yeah, and they know that.
There are vampires out. There are demons out.
And they all always hang out at graveyards, mausoleums, and crypts and everything.
Yeah. Spike is out hunting for a new place.
Yeah. So Xander and Willow leave, and Giles is just sitting. He's taking a moment to, realize that he is not as important anymore as he used to be when he was the watcher at the library. And he's kind of like, this sucks. Well, I'm going to start doing this spell anyway. And then he starts to walk over to it, and he looks down. He's like, no, fuck it. This is dumb. Nothing's happening. Somebody already took care of it. I'm just leaving. So he packs up his stuff and he walks out. And from the shadows, a shadowy figure emerges. And who is it? But our old friend, Ethan Rayne.
Mr. Halloween himself.
Yes. Dude, I fucking love this guy.
We just had a Friday the 13th pass, too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And Ethan Rayne emerges from the shadows. He's like, oh, you're going to be in more trouble than you even realize, Mr. Giles. Because once you leave this, something very, very bad is going to happen. And then the door opens back up, and Giles is like, I'm sorry, did somebody say something? And he's like, oh, it's Ethan Rayne.
Ethan goes, oh God, I thought you were good left. I laughed out loud when that happened. He just got caught monologuing.
It was such a good moment. Yeah. And,
he's in Ethan like a trench coat too, right? He's like,
Ethan Rayne is like a great villain that like they don't really take too seriously, but he is a dastardly motherfucker.
Yes.
Like he has some good, decent plans. Like the Halloween plan was great. Band Candy is okay.
I feel like Band Candy, I don't know what they were really going for. Distraction wise, it wasn't a great plan, but he did get a business up and running quick.
He really did. That chocolate factory had a lot of workers, and it didn't matter if any of them got killed right in front of the other workers. They were still making chocolate.
It was an Amazon factory if I've ever seen one.
It was like Amazon mixed with Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
But, dude, Ethan Rayne's got some staying power. I like this guy. He's a great actor, too, whoever is the guy acting. Robin Sachs.
I was so happy to see them, like, sitting down with some beers. I was like, this is going to be fun.
But before we get to the beer having, Giles is like, Ethan Rayne, ooh, beating the shit out of you is going to make my bad day feel a lot better. And he just grabs him, he cocks back.
Yeah.
And Ethan's like, wait, don't do it.
Ripper, no. Ripper, no.
He's like, I got some information. Don't. I can help you. We can work together. And John's like, why would I ever fucking want to work with you? And I want to thrash you. And he's like, wait, I got some information for you. Something bad is coming. Something bad's happening. And I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you all about it if you just don't beat me up. And Giles is like, okay, all right. Then we cut to them having a beer at a restaurant together.
Yeah, I was like, what is this place in Sunnydale?
Yeah, it looked nice. I like that
like
place.
Giles, man. You can step out, have a drink, walk around, meet some people, meet some new demons.
And they're kind of reluctantly like bonding over old times. It seems like they have a beer, and Giles is like he's reticent to give in to the.
They have history, but they also don't like each other. It's.
So Ethan starts to tell Giles about, there's something like causing harm to demons, and it's not the Slayer. It's not any kind of like witch stuff that we're used to. There's some kind of other shit at play here, and it's really starting to throw the balance out of good and evil in the world. Like there's the demons are scared, and when they're scared, they start to react in an angry way, and that means they're going to start to attack and everything. And what they're scared of is something called 314. And whatever 314 is, it's throwing the world out of balance, and they need to like investigate and figure out what that is and stop it, because it could lead to some real serious bad shit. Yeah. And I was like, okay, all right.
I'd argue that the balance has never really been there.
Yeah, like what good balance is being struck here with like the Hellmouth always threatening to be opened again, and the Ascension happening, and all of this crazy shit. Like, is this balance?
Yeah.
Is this the world is normal?
A whole high school getting eaten by an Ascension demon. It's like, oh yeah, that's the balance. Yeah.
No, that's how this should be playing out. But alas, so Ethan Rayne is a little concerned, and it's causing Giles to like raise a few eyebrows too. Like this is, Giles doesn't like Ethan Rayne, but for as much as he doesn't like Ethan Rayne, he has some good intel sometimes. Yes, yeah. So he respects Ethan Rayne from that point of view, it seems like. So then we cut to a scene where Buffy and Riley are sparring with each other. And it's this weird, goofy, them just like circling around each other in a flirty way.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you ever seen that clip of them playing basketball and Catwoman, the Halle Berry?
Yes.
And it's like those weird close-ups. That's just what it looks like. It's shot almost like the same way, where it's like these close-ups and he's like grinning and smiling. And
dude, it's Halle Berry and Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so. I was gonna say it's like the end of that one Rocky movie where like he and Apollo Creed they're having that like sparring bout against each other, and they're like circling each other, and it's like this really
it's a mix between that, because it has that vibe of that Rocky ending where they're like about to punch each other and they're playfully sparring, but then it has the close-ups of that like Catwoman thing that are straight up. Because it never goes like as wacky as that Catwoman thing at the end.
Thank God.
My goodness, that's a mess.
That scene is an editing nightmare mess. There's like 90 cuts in like 5 seconds.
It is the most insane thing I've ever seen.
My favorite meme, I think, like Hood Clips on Instagram, they always post that, and it's the caption is, "They really thought they were doing something with it."
Like,
it's like Halle Berry doing it with a basketball, like doing this weird Cabbage Patch dance.
Oh my god,
so stupid.
And the grins on their faces. Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, Buffy and Riley are doing this, and they're like sparring, and you know, they're going at each other, and you know, it seems light and playful. Mm-hmm. And then Riley's like, "Are you holding back?" And Buffy's like, "Maybe a little, are you?" And Riley's like, "Yeah, maybe I'm holding back a little." And then they like, you know, they disengage, and they're like, "All right, let's not hold back. All right, let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's really go. I want to see how strong you are and how intense this can get." Mm-hmm. And then once they start doing that, Riley starts like going to like beat the shit out of Buffy. He starts trying to wail on her, and Buffy is blocking his attacks. But then Buffy starts to try and punch him, and Riley's holding his own, blocking her attacks. And then she sweeps the leg, and then he gets knocked down, and they get back up, and then Buffy just hits him with this sidekick that launches him across the room into some padding. And she's like, "Oh God, Riley, are you okay?" Yeah. It's like, dude, he just got his sternum caved in.
All of his ribs are broken.
Yeah.
His ego is shattered.
Yeah. Like, she runs over to him and she's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm okay. I'll be fine." It's like his wind is like totally. It should have been more intense. Like, it wasn't as intense as I just made it.
I mean, he got
but it
kicked
should have been
across
like
the room.
that. Yeah, it's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
But Riley's like, ego a little hurt. Buffy's like, "Okay, all right, well, let's just make sure that you're good. Maybe we shouldn't do this anymore."
Yeah.
So then we go back to Giles with Ethan Rayne, and they're both drunk now.
Yeah. There goes a bunch of beers, shots being handed out, like Ethan Rayne giving out his number to the waitress.
Yeah. So Giles is talking to Ethan Rayne, and he's like, "I've been fucking fighting demons for 20 years, and this Professor Walsh lady shows up, and who knows how long she's been doing this. And what? I'm just useless now? Huh? I'm just some guy on the side. I'm just nothing." And Ethan Rayne's like, "Don't even worry about it, man. She's fucking sounds like a real fucking piece of work, you know?" And Giles is all jealous of, you know, Professor Walsh. And then Ethan Rayne's given the waitress's number, and Giles is like, "You know, look at us, man. We're a couple of old mystics, and the world is passing us by. You know, I'm a sad, unemployed former librarian, and who has a tendency to get knocked on the head."
I love that they call that stuff out.
Yeah. And he's like, "Look, dude, the world's passing us by, and you know, we're not relevant anymore." And Ethan Rayne's like, "Well, I wouldn't worry about that too much, Mr. Giles, because I just slipped poison in your beer, and you'll be dead in a matter of minutes." And Giles looks up at him, and he's like, "You motherfucker, how dare you?" And Ethan Rayne just goes, "Just kidding."
Yeah.
And then they cheers together. They cheers to magic. And it was a pretty cute little bonding scene of two old rivals that sort of respect each other, have a history, but don't like each other. But, you know, they're bonding over their irrelevancy.
Yeah, I was just like, so he was just standing in the crypt doing nothing, and then he tells you about 314. He could have just come to your house and told you about that. Like,
right?
It seems like he's up to something, Giles.
Yes.
And I'm not really sure what's happening.
It's like, it makes sense if like demons and vampires live in crypts, but Ethan Rayne's just a regular guy. Yeah. But yeah. So then the next scene is Willow and Tara. Tara's back in the fold. She's here, and they're going to practice doing some spells together. And the spell that they're practicing is they have a little symbol drawn on the floor, and they have a rose, and what they're going to do is they're going to float the rose, and once the rose is floating, they're going to pluck all of the petals off of the rose. And I was like, I am very excited to see how the special effects are going to make that happen.
Yeah.
I like crossed my arms. I was like, all right, let's see what happens with this.
The VFX crew is reading the script and they're like, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, you want us to do what?
Just like, fuck it. We just learned how to do the face swap. Like, it's to pluck petals from a rose.
Let's get an oversized flower, right? We can just like do fishing line and we can pluck it off and it'll be close up, right? Close up.
But in order to make this spell work, they need to hold hands, and they like do a really good close up of this hand holding, and it's very intimate.
This is erotic witchcraft, is what they're doing.
And Willow explains, like, in order to make this spell work, we really need to be in tune, and we really need to have our minds a meeting of our minds and our emotions. We need to be on the same page. And Tara's like, fucking right on, dude. Like, this sounds hot as fuck.
Yeah, she's like, we probably should be naked too, right? Yeah. These clothes are gonna hold us back.
So they start holding hands, interlocking fingers, and they close their eyes, and the breeze starts going through their hair. The rose starts floating, and as the rose starts floating, they open their eyes and they see it, and they're like, we're fucking doing it. We're fucking doing witchcraft together. God, this is so hot. And after the rose floats, Willow's like, all right, time to do the plucking and pulling apart of the petals. And Tara's like, fuck yeah, I like this metaphor.
Are we too subtle or not subtle?
And then the rose just starts fucking flying all over the place. The eroticism is too much to handle.
Oh no, my deflowering gone wrong.
And it starts zooming all over the room. And then it eventually lands back on the symbol that they have drawn on the ground, and then it just explodes. And they look at it and they're like, well, that can't be good.
They're like, well, the petals are gone.
Yeah. I did like that Tara brought that up. She's like, oh, the petals are gone, huh? Yeah. The deflowering definitely happened. And I was like, huh, but that didn't seem right.
Yeah, and Tara's like, so we're doing this or not?
Yeah.
This is the original Netflix and chill. Witchcraft and chill. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So then we have Giles waking up the next morning. And he's like, oh, I knew this morning I was going to feel like hell. Holy crap. And he's hungover because of all the beers that he drunk. And he starts walking down the stairs, and we're curiously not getting a look at what he looks like. We're not seeing his face. And he walks down the stairs, and he's yawning and stuff, and he's getting ready for his day. And he goes up to the mirror, and in the mirror, it reveals that Giles has been turned into this hideous, horrifying demon with these gigantic horns. Mm-hmm. He's all scarred and crazy looking, and he sees it, and he's like, oh my fucking God, I'm a demon. And he grabs the mirror and stuff, and the mirror breaks. He grabs his post on his like banister, and the banister breaks. Yeah. He's like, fucking Ethan Rayne. He goes to grab a phone to call Buffy or Willow or somebody. Phone smashes in his hand. And then he's like, oh, I don't understand my own strength. I'm going to go out. He tries to put a shirt on. The shirt rips, and he's like, oh, I really like that shirt. Damn it. Then he was like, all right, I'm going to put a blanket over my head, and I'm going to go out into the world. I need to find somebody that can help me. Opens his door busts off its hinges. And he's like, God damn it. This is so much fucking home remodeling costs.
My favorite thing is like hungover. Giles wakes up hungover as a demon in a breakaway house. Yeah. Basically everything. Like, look at this house. Everything is like this fake. These fake banisters. Like, the phone is like made out of like crumpled. Like, everything he touches just falls apart. I loved it. And I was like, this is so funny, man. They just made a fake house that he could rip apart.
It's like that scene, I think it's in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, where he first becomes Spider-Man and he like turns his faucet and it starts breaking, like everything starts breaking. Those scenes must be so fun to act.
Yeah.
Like with just everything's breaking and it's like, all right, the purpose of this scene is to break everything.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, that must be awesome. But so Giles is out in the world. He's looking for somebody that can help him. Buffy and Willow are eating breakfast together and Buffy's like, man, I really like Riley. Life is so good. Everything's going so great. Willow, you didn't come home last night. Where were you? And Willow's like, I was alone in the library doing some studying of witchcraft. I was alone though. Definitely wasn't with another person.
Yeah, so you were at the library all night and we're having breakfast together. Like, you slept there.
Pulled an all-nighter. Trying to pull those fucking petals off of that rose, baby.
Yeah. It's like, well, I didn't see you last night, so I thought you were dead, but okay.
Yeah. I would never, I would need hourly check-ins with all of my friends.
Yeah.
But Willow talks to Buffy about, I was trying to do this spell with this rose and something happened. It started zooming across the room and then it exploded. And I felt a very dark presence that was kind of manipulating things and it wouldn't allow me to do the spell correctly. And Buffy's like, well, that's kind of concerning. We should tell Giles about that. You know what? Actually, we should tell Maggie Walsh about that because she's interested in learning about all this dark presence bullshit. Mm-hmm. And Willow's like, maybe we should tell Giles about it. Mm-hmm. He's been feeling kind of hurt and neglected and out of the loop because last night he found out that about the initiative and Riley and Professor Walsh. And Buffy's like, he didn't know about that? And Willow's like, yeah, you didn't tell him any of that. And Buffy's like, I could have swore I did. And Willow's like, you didn't. Yeah. And Buffy's like, oh, man, that sucks. Whatever. Giles will get over it.
You spent more time arguing with Riley about if you guys could date than telling Giles, who's been drawing pictures and having maps and stuff.
But Buffy's like, yeah, I'll tell Giles. I'll apologize. He'll forgive me. He doesn't, he can't possibly stay mad at me. I mean, look at this face. Look at this punum.
She's like, I'm all he's got in his life anyway.
Yeah, he's nothing without me.
Yeah,
I guess I forgot to tell him, but whatever. He'll get over it. But let me tell you, things are going really well with Riley, except for yesterday me and Riley were sparring and I kicked him across the room and I may have dented him. And Willow's like, well, that's not good. And Buffy's like, well, he asked me not to hold back, so I fucking kicked him across the room. And Willow's like, did you really hold back? Did you really not hold back? That could have killed him. And Buffy's like, well, I mean, he asked me not to hold back, but I mean, I held back a little bit.
Yeah, she would have punched a hole in his chest.
Yeah, she would have donutted that guy, dude. Like, he would have.
They bring it up later, but it is the Spider-Man thing where Spider-Man in the comics and the movies, he's always pulling his punches. Because Spider-Man, if he would have unleashed all of his punching ability, he would just like destroy people.
Yeah,
which I don't love in the canon of Spider-Man, just for the simple fact that he should be able to knock people out with one punch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a varying level of pulling punches because, like, when he's fighting Venom or Carnage or something, like, it's more of he puts more strength into it. But, like, Dr. Octopus is just a dude with tentacle arms. Yeah. Like, he would knock that guy's head off.
Yeah. I mean, you could at least hit him hard enough to, like, concuss him.
Yeah, like, knock him out, give him just punch him right on the button, you know? But anyway, so Buffy feels a little bad that, she lied to Riley about holding back or whatever, I guess. So now we have a scene where Giles goes to Xander's basement.
How did he make it all the way over there? He is a monster demon with a sheet over him, like horns, face, can't drive, walking.
It's not even just that his face and like upper body is hurt. Like he's got like weird legs and hooves.
He's like
shit.
8 feet tall too.
Yeah, like there's no hiding this.
Yeah.
And also, why would Xander be the first? Like, you hate Xander.
Yeah.
Maybe he's closest to him or something.
I mean, he can't go the 5 miles to college.
Fair, very fair. That is quite a far walk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he could make it if we wanted him to, but...
Yeah. So he goes to Xander's basement, and Xander's still asleep, and Giles is like, "You're still asleep? It's 10:30. Can't believe this. Lazy slacker." And so he's shaking Xander. He's like, Xander, wake up. It's me, Giles. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to look like Giles when you look at me, but it is me, Giles. Something bad has happened. And Xander's, he's like out of it. He's kind of coming to. And he opens his eyes and he sees Giles. And he's like, oh, holy shit. And it is revealed that while we are perceiving Giles to be speaking English to Xander, Xander is perceiving Giles to be speaking this unbelievable, crazy demon language. So Xander can't understand that it's Giles, and Giles is saying all this sweet stuff to him.
Yeah.
So Xander starts freaking out, wakes up, jumps out of bed, starts throwing pots and pans at Giles. And Giles is like, no, wait, Xander, it's me. And Xander's like, get the fuck out of my house, dude. Yeah. And Xander's like, get out of here. And so Giles eventually is like, oh, fuck, this sucks. He can't understand me. What's going on? And he runs out, and Xander's like, yeah, that's right. Get out of here, demon. And so this is the most unbelievable part.
Well, before we get to that, Xander has just been woken up after being a demon magnet in a few episodes ago to a demon standing over his bed.
Yes.
He threw pots and pans at it, and the demon left.
Yeah.
What does he think is going on?
Yeah, I think that he'd be able to put two and two together when the demon's like waving the white flag, like hands up, like, hey, ow.
I don't know if you think that immediately.
Yeah,
I don't know what you would think, but I wouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
I would get a better lock on that door.
Absolutely. But I mean, Giles did just bust his own door off the hinges. So.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't stop. But I mean, like, you have to have some type of protection. Demons are walking in all the time.
Yeah. So Giles runs off, and then Giles has his like blanket over top of him, but he's clearly visible, and he's running. It's the middle of the day. He's running across lawns, stepping on like children's toys. There's kids playing in their yards that plainly see Giles running across. Parents come out and they start shielding their kids from Giles, and they're like, oh my God, there's a demon. Giles is running amok through the city, plainly visible to everyone.
They all know demons exist. They all just put blinders on. That's the only way to take this world.
Yeah.
Like, that lady's so casual getting her kid away from a demon.
I know. She just like grabs her, like, get away from him, honey.
Honey. She tells her husband, call the police.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you should be frantically screaming.
Yes.
There's a demon monster during the day, like feet away from your child.
Yeah, kicking your kids' toys all around the yard.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, sure. But somehow he managed to make it over there fine.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Without anybody suspecting anything.
Yeah.
But so then we go to the gang is going to Giles' house, and Xander's telling all of the gang about like, no, I was attacked by a demon. It broke into my house. It was leering over me while I was asleep. It woke me up. I threw a bunch of pots and pans at it, and it got away. But there's a demon on the loose. And they're like, all right, well, we need to go to Giles' place. We need to figure out who this demon is. Giles probably knows. And they go to Giles' place, and they see that the door is blown off the hinges. They go in. They're like, oh, my God. They see that Giles' place is all fucked up and thrashed and trashed. And they're like, oh, my God, this demon must have gotten Giles, too. So they think that Giles has been killed by this demon. And they're like, well, it has a purpose, so it must be on to us as the gang because it killed Giles and it went to go attack Xander, so they know who we are, so we're all at risk. let's research and figure out who this demon is. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Anya thinks because of the ripped jacket that the demon ate Giles.
Yeah.
And they don't really react as if Giles is dead.
No. They're like, let's get down to business.
Yeah, I mean, Xander's reaction to thinking that Spike bit Anya was bigger than their reaction to thinking that a demon ate Giles.
Yeah. So now it's nighttime and Giles is wandering around the cemetery and he's like, well, I guess this is where it all is. This is where demons hang out, at the cemetery. Might as well go where we all are hanging out. And Spike is in the cemetery and he's doing some measurements for his new crypt home. He's got a tape measure out. He's measuring this thing, and Giles walks by and Spike sees him and he's like, oh, okay. We got a demon on the loose here. Well. If it isn't a demon, let me crack my knuckles. I'm ready to kick some demon ass because that's what I do now. And Giles is like, ugh, of course this is happening. Of course I'm going to run into fucking Spike here. Well, let's do it. Let's get with the fighting. And he's like, puts his dukes up. And Spike is like, Giles? Is that you? And Spike's just like, what are you doing? And Giles is like, you can understand me? I'm speaking English? And Spike's like, no, you're speaking Fjarl, but it just so happens that I understand Fjarl. I speak Fjarl. And he's like, oh my God, thank God somebody can help me. And Giles explains the situation. He's like, I think that this guy, Ethan Rayne, put me under some kind of spell. He turned me into this, and I need you to help me.
Why did Ethan Rayne do this? I never really got this point of the story.
Yeah, I guess Ethan Rayne's just always trying to fuck with Giles.
He's just a little trickster, like a little Loki.
Yeah. And Spike is like, yeah, I don't really give too much of a shit about that, and why would I ever want to help you? And Giles is like, please, if you don't help me, I'll kill you. And Spike's like, I'm calling your bluff on that one. And Giles is like, okay, fine. How about if you help me, I'll pay you. I'll pay you $100. And Spike's like, you're going to need to do a little bit better than $100. And Giles is like, how much are we talking? And Spike's like, how about 200? And Giles is like, oh, okay, that's nothing. He's like, oh, really? Okay, well then, all right, I'll help you.
Spike's like, I'll do it for money. I like money.
Yeah.
He's got to furnish his crypt, so he needs the cash.
True.
Yeah.
Where's Giles getting his money from? Who knows? But
I think Giles is fine. He just doesn't have a purpose anymore. But it also seems like he could have a purpose. Like, it's not like I don't know. It just seems like he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the gang at Giles's place, and they're researching what could have gotten Giles. And Riley shows up, and he's like, hey, I got some emergency calls about this demon that's on the loose. And I figured that I should come over here and let you know, Buffy. And he's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, well, we're all researching what this demon could be because we think that it killed Giles. And they're like, but we're so bad at research. And you know who would get to the bottom of this really quickly? Giles. Giles always had a knack for just opening a book and flipping to a page and understanding exactly what was going on.
They are talking about him as if he's dead, but not reacting as if he's dead.
Yeah, the emotion isn't there.
Yeah, it's like, so they know he's still, it seems like they know he's still alive. So there's no added tension. And I don't understand why they didn't just make him, like, make Buffy go to that dark place. Because they've done it before.
Yeah,
they've done Buffy, the fake outs. Yeah, they've done fake out. I think my friend's dead.
Yeah, Buffy usually reacts a lot more ferociously. Like, I'm gonna, you fuck with my friends. I'm gonna.
Even at the end of this, it's like, oh, you killed my friend. I'm gonna kill you. Like, it's not there. There's no emotion doing it. I don't believe they believe that he's dead.
Yeah, but they're all like, oh man, we're gonna miss that guy. He was great. He was great at researching.
So, is anyone called dibs on his apartment?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Xander's like, I can move out of the basement here.
I'm gonna have to fix up this banister and that front door, but it's still better. It's still above ground.
Maybe Spike's looking for a new place. Yes. Maybe you could just move.
Spike want a roommate?
Yeah. But speaking of Spike, he and Giles are in Giles' little jalopy and they're driving. And Spike explains to Giles that he is a Fjarl demon. And Giles is like, well, what comes with that? What comes with being a Fjarl demon? Do I have any special powers? Do I have super strength or anything? And Spike is like, well, you're super strong. And it appears you don't really know your own strength. Plus, Fjarl demons have this crazy mucus. And Giles is like, ew, really?
Paralyzing mucus.
Yeah, and he explains like, yeah, it's a paralyzer. It shoots out. It's gross. And Giles is like, great, mucus. That's my superpower. And they're driving along, and Spike is having a hard time driving the stick shift, and Giles is getting pissed off about it. He's like, you're going to ruin my car. And Spike's like, this isn't that good of a car to begin with. Let's just get that out of the way. Yeah. And then Giles is like starting to turn. It seems like he's starting to turn fully into this demon, because he's like, I'm starting to have a mindless need to destroy and cause violence in the world, and I don't like it. And Spike's like, give into it, man. Yeah. That's super fun. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
And Giles is like, no, I don't want to have this awful, mindless violence. I don't want to go around scaring people. I don't want to go around hurting people. I have a soul. I have a conscience. I'm a good person. And then he's like, ooh, wait, stop the car, because he sees Professor Walsh walking along. And Giles gets out of the car, runs straight up to Professor Walsh, and he's like, right in front of the espresso pump, in front of all of these people. And Professor Walsh sees it. She's like, oh, holy shit. She starts running. Yeah. And then Giles scares the shit out of her and then runs back into the car. And he's like, that felt good.
He oogie boogies, yells at her, and then oogie boogies back into the car. It's like, that felt good. And it's just like one of those moments. And it's in front of the espresso pump, like you said. And it's one of those moments where people saw that and just went right back to their lattes.
Yeah.
Like they didn't.
They no-sell a demon running and scaring one specific woman.
And she's the leader of the initiative.
Yeah.
Does she not have any type of protection on her?
Yeah, she like, you don't have some kind of self-defense mechanism, you know?
Like one of those knockout needles? Like anything.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything. She just runs.
This is the second time we've seen her be attacked by like werewolves and a demon and just be like, I have no recourse.
Maybe it's part of like she's in public. But like with the werewolf, she wasn't in public.
I mean, she was walking from... there's demons everywhere. If you're walking at night... Put it this way. If you're a woman walking at night and demons don't exist, you still have protection and stuff on you usually.
Yeah.
Or it's like advised to like have some mace, some pepper spray, the key method through the finger. Like something. You run a demon organization and you don't even have just a gun on you.
like even if she wasn't that, you know, some people, you know, there's the fight or flight.
Yes.
Somebody would have fought like turned around and punched. You don't know that she's going to run away from there, you know?
And she runs away not knowing if the demon's just about to go into the espresso pump and wreak havoc.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
I don't know. It's a funny scene.
It is funny. I did like it. A little bit of revenge for Giles for being belittled. But then we go back to the gang researching, and they find that Giles, they're like, oh, here it is. Here's what the demon is that attacked you, Xander. It is a Fjarl demon. It's got this paralyzer mucus. It's gross.
He's got the library's level of books in his house somehow.
Yeah. Well, I guess it exploded. It might as well went and rummaged through but that's exactly where the explosives were. So none of those books survived. And
there was also a book burning.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. He just has every book that he needs.
Yeah. So Riley gets a phone call from Professor Walsh about the demon. And he's like, hey, I just got a phone call. The demon actually attacked Professor Walsh. So we're going to mobilize a unit to try and neutralize this demon. They read in the book that in order to kill the demon, it needs a weapon made of silver. And Buffy walks over and she's like, here's a letter opener. Found it. This is made of silver, right? It's like, why didn't you think that? Fucking what?
Why does Giles have a silver, a pure silver letter opener?
Yeah, like those are not. I don't know. But they make a crack about how it stole Giles' car, and they're like, why the fuck would it steal that hunk of junk? And Buffy also posits this theory that there's some kind of dark magic controlling the demon, because usually Fjarl demons are mindless foot soldiers, they read in the book, and they need something that gives it orders. And she thinks that there's some kind of dark wizardry going on to control this Fjarl demon.
And then Willow's like, oh yeah, like the thing that was controlling the rose, the sexual rose we were trying to.
that I definitely did alone. I wasn't with another girl. I'm not gay, you're gay.
That's why they get the kiss from a rose. I mean, yeah, Buffy deducting this was it was like the episode was like, yeah, let's just get this all out real quick.
Yeah,
I was like, she put that together. There was a lot of leaps of logic there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she grabs the letter opener and she heads out to go hunt this demon. Mm-hmm. So I thought that this was pretty clever. So Spike drives Giles to the restaurant where he and Ethan Rayne were drinking the night before. Mm-hmm. And Spike is like very flirtily talking to the waitress. Mm-hmm. And she's like kind of going for it, which I like. Mm-hmm. And Spike's like, there are two gentlemen here. They were like me, you know, they're British, couple of guys here. One of them gave him their number. Do you still have that number? She's like, no, I fucking trashed that right away once I saw that he was staying at this rat trap motel. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, okay, what motel is that? And she's like, oh, it's this one across town. And Giles is in there, full demon face, just with his blanket over and like listening in, peering in, but you can see his demon face. Like, why wouldn't you just stay in the car, dude? Yeah. But whatever. Nobody notices that there's a fucking full demon.
Yeah, I like Spike's flirty detective work. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really clever. Mm-hmm. So Buffy and Riley, their first stop before they go hunting for this demon is they go to the magic shop, and Buffy breaks into the magic shop, and Riley's like, whoa, you did not need to do that. I have a master key that unlocks every door to every store on Main Street. And Buffy's like, oh, wow. That's pretty crazy and useful. Well, next time we'll have to use that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, are you guys sponsored by the town? Like,
right?
Did you guys?
Who's all in on this?
Did you know about the mayor? Like, what the fuck?
Where have you been?
Having a key for every shop on Main Street seems like a systematic thing, not a...
Yes.
Yeah.
But like the mayor would never want this initiative stuff to be...
Yeah, like it's like stuff like that where you got to be like, all right, now next episode, let's start unveiling some stuff, because I'm okay to suspend my disbelief a little bit. Yes.
But yeah.
But it's it's like a line that like doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
Like, I have a key for every shop.
Yeah, that makes it seem like the whole city's in on this.
Yeah, and also like, why do you need the keys to every shop? Like are you going demon raiding in shops?
Why wouldn't you just say like, I'm a expert lock picker?
Yeah.
Like, that's
like, when you say you have a key, that sets up more questions than...
Yeah. So they are going around the magic shop, and Buffy finds a receipt that is for Ethan Rayne, who had bought a bunch of magic spell bullshit. And she's like, all right, we got our man. He's a professional bad guy. This is who we're after. This is who's doing all this. And Riley's like, okay, cool. I'm going to call in. He pulls out his walkie-talkie and he's like, hey, initiative guys, let's do some research about motel registrations for under the name Ethan Rayne, Rayne. And Buffy's like, huh, you can just do that? You can have people research that? He's like, oh yeah, the initiative, we're on top of all this shit. And Buffy's like, wow, this is pretty useful.
Yeah.
Can't believe I didn't want to date you because of this.
I thought this would be a hindrance to our relationship. I don't know why. I just felt that way, I guess.
I really thought that this was a hindrance to our relationship, but this is working out perfectly. And Riley's like, whoa. Let me throw a monkey wrench into that plan right now. When I spoke to Maggie Walsh about this demon, she told me that I'm not supposed to bring you along when I go to kill the demon. And Buffy's like, well, that's funny that she said that because fuck her. I'm the vampire slayer and I do what I want. And Riley's like, no, you can't, because this is a military operation now and you're not allowed to come along. And Buffy's like, hey, Riley, remember what I did to you in the sparring session? You know, I could just do that again and you have no say in what I can do. I can take all of you guys out. I've been doing this all my life, or the last 4 years. I'm the Slayer. This is my destiny. So you can't stop me, and I'm going to go kill that demon. And you can come along, but that's what's happening. And Riley's like, okay, I guess. And I was like, kudos, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, what is he going to do?
So now Giles is back to driving around with Spike, and he's like, I'm getting a lot of violence urges right now, dude. I feel like snapping necks and killing people and doing a lot of evil. And Spike's like, hell yeah, I like that. I like the sound of that, but we have a tail. And Giles is like, yeah, I know. I was starting to grow. It's really uncomfortable. He's like, no. There's a Humvee behind us. It's following us. I think it's some kind of military type of thing. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, just speed up and we'll figure it out. Well, maybe it's not following us. And then another Humvee starts. And Spike's like, no, they're definitely following us. Yeah. So we have some trouble. And then Giles is like, well, then speed up. And Spike's like, I'm already flooring it, dude. This car's a piece of shit. And then so Giles is like, well, I can't be caught. All right, so I'm going to jump out of the car and run away. You need to distract the military. And Spike's like, they're after me too, dude. Like, I'm not just going to let you jump out of it. We're in this together. And Giles is like, I'll give you another $100 if you let me jump out. And Spike's like, all right, cool.
I love that Spike is just easily paid. Just a paid mercenary.
I mean, $300 is not a lot, too. Like, that's
you don't remember the 2000s, Joe.
Yeah, true, very true. So Giles jumps out, tucks and rolls, runs off into the darkness of the night, and then he shows up at Ethan Rayne's place to beat him up, and he starts beating Ethan Rayne up, and Ethan Rayne does the whole like, whoa, no, don't kill me. He's such a worm, dude. I love it.
I love that he can't fight at all, too.
Yeah, he's just like a mystic guy.
To throw a punch.
Yeah. Like, it's so fun what a roach he is. Like, I love characters like that, like Willie and Whistler, like all these like slimy guys. Yeah. They're so much more interesting than just like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Like, they're like conniving.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, Ethan Rayne just has like I mean, he's evil Giles, and that's what it is. It's like he's the bizarro Giles, and it's perfect.
So Giles starts beating him up, and then he's holding him like by the neck, choking him and stuff. And then Ethan Rayne's like, "You don't want to kill me, Giles, because if you kill me, then I can't undo you." And it's like, this is always like the perfect. I've got the antidote, and you don't know where it is.
And I just still don't know why he turned him.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
So then Buffy shows up, and Buffy still thinks that the demon is the one that killed Giles, and it's killing Ethan Rayne. And Buffy's like, I'm gonna attack this demon. And Ethan Rayne's like, yeah, it killed Giles, and now it's after me. Well, no, he says, it killed Ripper, and now it's trying to kill me. So I don't know what this demon's problem is, but he killed Giles and you should kill him. And Buffy's like, oh, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for all night long. So then they start fighting. So then we cut back to Spike, and Spike's on a quote-unquote high-speed chase with the military guys, and he loses them.
Oh, I wanted to bring up from the last scene, they do a stunt where they throw Ethan Rayne across the room, and he like lands on his head, and I think that stunt was amazing. The stunt guy like falls into a dresser that like explodes, and he like lands on his head. He doesn't complete the flip. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just I remember seeing that. That was like sick.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the stunts in the show are great. Yep. That being one of them. So yeah, then Spike's on the high-speed chase with the military, and he eludes them. He shakes them. He gets away from them. He's like, "Ha! That's what you get. You don't mess with Spike. I'm the best driver in the world." And then he immediately crashes into like a loading dock or something. Like, where did that come from?
It's like a spot that would not be when you made that right turn.
Yeah. But a little fun ending.
Yeah.
So now Buffy and Giles as the demon are fighting, and they're going at it, and they're going toe to toe. Riley's fighting Ethan Rayne, and Riley's this elite trained military dude that went toe to toe with Buffy for a little bit. And he can't hold his own against Ethan Rayne.
I don't think Ethan Rayne ever gets a clean hit in, but every time he just keeps letting him get up.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's almost like, hey, just stay down, Ethan Rayne.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's more like Ethan Rayne's not putting any damage in.
Yeah. So Buffy and Giles are still fighting, and then eventually Buffy gets the upper hand, pushes Giles to the ground, and she's like, "It's time to die. This is revenge for killing Giles." And
I've shown no emotional remorse for it.
And Giles, as the demon, is just looking, staring into Buffy with his big blues, and he just kind of succumbs to it, and he's like, "Well, I guess this is where I die." And Buffy stabs him in the chest, and then she goes, "Oh, Giles!" And then somehow, stabbing Giles in the chest as a demon turns him back human and doesn't kill him?
It doesn't turn him back human. But he ends up being able to talk to her and her being able to understand him.
Yeah.
So he's like still in demon form, but they're able to talk, and he's got like bluish blood, I think, leaking out. And she goes, "Oh, this isn't Silver?" So like if it was Silver, I guess he would have died. But stabbing him unleashed him.
The language?
Yeah, and then between the cut, I think Ethan Rayne transformed him back.
Okay, yeah, because I'll be fully transparent with everybody here. I wasn't quite sure what happened here.
It's not good.
It's a little confusing, to say the least.
It's not good.
Would you agree it's a little confusing?
I don't know why he turned him into this demon.
Yeah.
I don't understand what this purpose for. Like, it wasn't like Ethan Rayne turned him into a demon. It was like, now I'm going to have him do my bidding and break into a bank and get money or something. Like, that's dumb, but at least, like, you can see that happening. Yeah. I don't know why he was like, I'm going to tell my friend that my frenemy, that there's a demon force that we need to, like, team up to fight. And then I'm going to turn him into a demon. Like, if he turned him into a demon so that he could get kidnapped by the initiative, that would have been kind of cool. Like, if he was like, I'm sending you in undercover, but you don't know you're undercover, and you would have never agreed to this. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what, it just seems like a farce almost.
It also is like Ethan Rayne gives Giles good intel. Like, we find out at the end, he actually gives him accurate and good intel. And
Giles gives him intel that there's an initiative and there's a whole army force. So they both have information that they have traded.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what's the next step.
Yeah, I don't know. But Yeah, Buffy, Giles turns back human, and Ethan Rayne is like caught, but he's just sitting cross-legged on the ground. Like no one's like holding him back.
I think he just did the spell to turn him back.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
He does his whole and I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids type of thing. And Giles is like, I'm so happy that you didn't kill me. How could you tell that it was me underneath all of this? And Buffy's like, I looked into those eyes and I knew it was you, Giles. No one can look that annoyed with me. and Giles is like, okay, fair. Very fair. And then Ethan Rayne's like, so what are you going to do with me now? It's not like you can kill me, so I'm just going to leave. And then Riley's like, well, actually, you're under arrest by the military police, and we're going to hold you in a desert in Arizona, and we're going to question you, and we're going to get to the bottom of all of your mystic shit. And Ethan Rayne's like, what?
Yeah. So this is government funded.
Yes. Because now it's not just at Sunnydale. It's all across the country, because now they're going to a detention center in Arizona. And Giles is so giddy about this. He's like, I'm going to go watch him manhandle Ethan Rayne. This is sick. And also, I love that Giles is wearing Ethan Rayne's clothes at the end of this. He's like, this wardrobe is trash.
He's got on some Dan flashes.
Yes, he absolutely does. It's like a silky blue and black like cross. Dude, it's crazy.
That would have worked if it was like, hey, Giles, are you in your midlife crisis now? Like, they had that look of like, I'm going to go to the club.
Yeah. So Giles steps out and Buffy takes the time to thank Riley. And Riley's like, hey, you disobeyed military orders. I told you that you're not allowed to go and attack. And you just said, fuck that. I gotta tell you something. I like that about you. I like that you're independent and you take charge and you don't take orders. And Buffy's like, yeah, that's what being a Slayer is all about. And Riley's like, cool.
I'm not a soldier and just follow orders.
Yeah, I'm not in your fucking initiative, dude. Like, so then we go to Giles' place.
Then he has the line where he says, "Give me a week. Give me a week to get ready to take you down," which is a little more double entendre that was set up earlier.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, I'll give you, you really think you can take me down? I'd like to see you try.
Yeah. He's like, give me a week.
Take me down in more than one way than
He's like, give me a week. My ribs are really messed up from that kick. he says, you're Spider-Man strong, so yeah.
Yeah, he does say that. He's like, you're strong. You're like Spider-Man strong.
Yeah.
So then we go to Giles' place, and Giles is replacing all the shit that he destroyed. He got a new phone. And he's really excited about it. And he's like, Buffy, see this phone here? You can use it to call me, to tell me information. You don't need to keep secrets from me. And Buffy's like, okay, Giles, I get it. Next time I'll tell you everything. I'm sorry. I really forgot. I could have swore that I told you, but I guess it just like slipped my mind. And I was having too much fun hanging out with Riley and bonding about killing demons and stuff. So I'm sorry. And Giles is like, that's okay. It's okay. Just keep me in the loop, because I can help you, and we're all a team. Buffy's like, okay. And then Giles is like, and I really do appreciate this initiative stuff, and I really do like this Riley guy, and I really, I want to support your relationship. And Buffy goes, uh-oh, you have butt face. Mm-hmm. And Giles is like, excuse me? What? And she's like, no, I mean like, not butt face as in like ass cheeks. I mean as in like, you're about to say butt. And John's like, well, yeah, okay. Thanks for the distinction.
It'd been funny if he actually thought he had a butt face after being turned into a demon. He's like, not again.
Yeah. So he walks over. He's like, Buffy, I got to tell you, dude, like, I'm a little concerned about this initiative thing. Like, Ethan Rayne, for as big of a prick as he is, like, I do respect his intel. And he said that there's some kind of force that's throwing the world out of balance. And I think it might be this initiative thing. So before you go too headfirst into everything, be sure to keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled, look for any suspicious activity, and be sure to really check everything out and don't trust everybody. And Buffy's like, it's okay. I'm not dating the initiative, Giles. I'm dating Riley, and Riley's a good guy. And Giles is like, oh, okay, but still, be careful.
He's no undead vampire with a soul, but okay. All right.
So then we cut to Professor Walsh and Riley kind of having a similar conversation where Riley's like, let me tell you, Professor Walsh, she's a good girl, that Buffy. And Professor Walsh is like, oh yeah, she just disobeyed military orders and went and did her own thing. I mean, that's a little reckless, but she got the job done.
He says she's the truest soul he's ever known.
I know.
And she calls him out on his college kids in love with their poetic musings.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Riley, come on. Don't let the other soldiers hear you talk like that.
I know. If Forrest was there, he'd have been like, oh, fucking Riley, bro. Are you kidding me? But yeah, she's like, well, I'm a little upset that nobody followed protocol. Buffy didn't follow protocol, but you know what? Riley, I trust you. You think that she has the truest soul or whatever that you've ever seen? I'll stick with you. I go with your hunch. I trust you, Riley. And he's like, all right, cool. Thank you for trusting me. And Maggie Walsh is like, all right, well, I'm going to go into this totally top secret thing. You have a good time. Yeah. And Riley's like, all right, I'm going to leave. So she goes into this totally top secret place. She swipes a card to get in past 2 security doors. And then she gets to this last security door, and it's room 314, which is the number that Ethan Rayne warned Giles about. So now we know that they're up to something.
Seems like Buffy and the gang should have already been wondering what's going on, since they've been curious about these guys for 3 episodes.
Yep. And you knew that not everything was that met the eye.
Well, I think this is the room where they inject the stuff into Spike.
I feel like it's more dastardly deeds that go on in 314 than that.
Yeah, maybe. And we don't see Spike again, so we gotta assume that he's in there. Or somewhere.
Oh yeah, maybe he did get captured.
I mean, he turned a corner and crashed immediately. They would have to be insane not to be able to find that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we never get a payoff there. His midlife crisis isn't they kind of go with it, but they don't do much with it.
Yeah.
And then there's a line when Buffy first meets Maggie Walsh and she says, you're the Slayer, and she's like, you were myth-staken. Which is kind of lame.
Yeah.
That was a rough one.
Yeah.
It's like, Buffy, you're not going to take this seriously.
What are we even doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the episode. You got any final thoughts about A New Man, Vance?
I didn't love it, and we never got a chance to see the paralyzing mucus.
Yeah, they really Chekhov gunned that. Yeah, they didn't follow that rule at all.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a little bit of a filler episode for me. The knowing that the initiative is doing something in room 314 is fine, but we don't know what it is.
I don't think it's the chip that they put in the Spike because Riley knew about that, you know?
Well, what do you mean Riley knew about it? No one, they never said, Riley can know about the bad stuff that happens too. Ethan Rayne is just saying that they do stuff there.
Yeah.
He didn't say what it is. He says demons are complaining about something, and now we're supposed to be like, oh man, we gotta help the demons. We don't know what this thing is exactly. We know it's going to be bad. We know it's going to cause friction between Riley and Giles and Walsh and Buffy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know exactly what it is. But this episode seems like it's there just to set up the 314 room thing.
Yeah. But
and some Tara Willow stuff, but
the payoff, I guess, for Giles feeling not useful and not wanted anymore is when they all thought he was dead, and they were like, Giles was really good at research and he would have an answer.
Yeah.
It's that's it, and it wasn't even emotionally striking. They were just oh man, I fucking wish Giles was here so we didn't have to do this.
Yeah, they didn't even bat an eye. They thought he was dead.
Buffy didn't even have a moment at the end where it was
yeah,
I'm nothing with that. I really need your help. I'm glad that you're alive. She was just I could tell it was you because you're annoyed at me.
Yeah, it wasn't I was relieved to find out that you were a demon that was alive. I thought you had died. It was she didn't shed a tear.
Yeah,
that was weird. Tough. That was weird.
Tough stuff. All right, so that was a new man. Vance, the next episode is titled The Eye in Team. This is going to be about Buffy rebelling against the Initiative a bit more, you think? Or is it Riley rebelling against the Initiative, you think?
I'd lean a little bit Riley rebelling.
He's leaning more Team Buffy than Initiative.
And that's why they don't let Initiative members date.
Yep.
Because this
Buffy's
is what
a bad influence.
This is what happens.
You were a loyal dog, Riley, and now you have agency.
Yep.
Don't love it.
Don't love it.
But that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to our Patreon where we do Boys Watching Angel, and we also do Boys Watching Movies. We sign up for our Discord. It's the link is in the show notes. We're almost at 100 members in our Discord, which is a good time. We're gonna have to. I know there was some suggestions that there should be some kind of celebration.
We're getting strong-armed in our Discord.
I know. It's like, hey, I didn't even really know that we were almost at 100 members.
You know,
in Discord.
it's not cool to be counting followers. You know.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
We just are happy when we see newcomers in there. We welcome them with our open arms
and memes.
We didn't know that there was going to be a lot more shit going on here.
Why do we have to do something for the 100 thing? So somebody should do something for us.
Me and Vance are going to have a pizza party for ourselves when we hit 100. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we could do. Maybe that's... But
they're all bots.
Or if we're going to do
bots
anything
anyway.
Yeah, Elon Musk was right. 80% of our Discord members are bots. So join the Discord. We got some lively discussions. It's not just about Buffy. We have a separate thing for Angel. We talk anime. We talk gaming. All kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Follow the Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy if you want to email in. boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts if you want to get a shout out. Do it on Spotify too. If you do a rating on Spotify, screenshot it, send it to my DMs at Joe Welke, and I'll give you a fucking shout out. We've only had one of those so far. It was our boy Elias, who is the moderator of our Discord, which big help, big awesome shit.
Yeah, you know what? Celebrate Elias if we get to 100. Yeah, that's the real deal. Like,
shout out Elias, hardcore. That guy, he's the moderator for our Discord, and we would be we would have had a lot of stuff spoiled if it wasn't for him, I think. So
and he's keeping an eye on the full spoiler sections of Angel and Buffy, because we don't go in there. We can't see it.
We don't go in those at all. So you guys are probably talking mad shit about us in the full spoilers. But, it's all love over here from the boys. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned next time for when we talk about The Eye in Team.
I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, Ripper, old mate, I'd say something rather interesting was about to happen. Someone... Oh, bug, I thought you'd gone.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.